My name is Scott Wolf. I'm Executive Director of Grow Smart Rhode Island. I'm going to be moderating this panel today, which is entitled, What Can We Do? Public Planning in Action. And we're going to be exploring how government and business can collaborate to prepare for the threats that we're already facing and will continue to face in the waterfront areas especially. I want to tell you just a little bit about Grow Smart Rhode Island. We're a public interest organization that's focused on land use planning and land use strategies to advance our economy and our quality of life. And we've concluded, and I don't think this is a brilliant conclusion, but we have concluded that one of the biggest planning challenges for Rhode Island, with 420 miles of coastline and with much of its population living very close to that coastline, is how best to deal with issues of increasing storm severity, storm surge, and obviously sea level rise. We're also concerned, though, and this may be something you haven't heard before, but we are concerned that efforts to confront these issues not become an excuse to discourage revitalization of our urban town and village centers, because many of them are on or very close to the water. And we don't want to see the resiliency movement become an excuse for sprawl, for more sprawl. And I don't think it will. I don't think it has to by any means, but I just want to kind of put that out there as a marker for you to think about as we all work together to become more resilient. We have experts here from Rhode Island, and we are national leaders in a lot of these areas, so we should have experts here from Rhode Island. Hoboken, New Jersey, and Boston, and they're each going to discuss innovative preparedness and recovery strategies in which they've been heavily involved. Their experiences, I think, have helped them understand how government and business need to collaborate to address the issues that have brought us here today. Before I introduce the panelists, I want to put on my former political consultant's hat, kind of blend that with my Grow Smart hat, and just offer a few observations about the communications challenges that I think surround resiliency planning. To be taken seriously, I think we have to emphasize that resiliency planning is a pragmatic and essential activity. It's not something to be viewed as discretionary, as nice, but not necessary. In promoting resiliency strategies, I also think we have to demonstrate that these are economically essential, and I believe that's already been covered today, and potentially economically beneficial, not to have them cast as economically destructive or counterproductive. And to be convincing on this point, it may help to focus on the clear, present, and proven dangers of increasingly frequent severe storms and storm surges, and maybe low-key a little bit with some folks the sea level rise issue, which is a little more distant in people's minds. Not that we can ignore that either, and I don't want Grover Fugate to come up here and throttle me saying that. It will also be good if we can drive home the point that that resiliency planning is mainstream, it's prudent, it's proactive, all of those things. So obviously Rhode Island has done trailblazing work on these issues. If we can continue that work and accelerate it, it could give us an edge, and this is an idea directly from Grover, it could give us an edge in competition for companies choosing among various East Coast locations. So that's one of the ways that all of this emphasis on resiliency can help us with our economic development efforts. And speaking of that, I'm just going to digress for 1 minute, because I've been working a lot on the Roadmap RI Economic Development Plan, which has become a lightning rod for a lot of misinformed and very kind of right-wing critiques. There's going to be a hearing and vote on Roadmap RI tomorrow before the State Planning Council, of which I'm a member. It's at 9 o'clock in Conference Room A at the Department of Administration building, the somewhat modern, not too attractive office building across from the State House. I would encourage those of you who think this is a good approach and a good, at least, foundation for moving forward on our economic development activity in Rhode Island to come to that meeting. There are going to be a lot of people there who are opposed to this plan, and I think it's important that the media know that there are people who also support it. So I'm not saying some of you may not support it, but I just wanted to give you that little public service announcement. So let's now go to our panel. It's a dynamic group of folks. I think you've got an overview of their backgrounds in your program. I'm just going to give you a few highlights of their background and then have them come up. Our first speaker, Teresa Crane, is an accomplished community planner and coastal management extension specialist for the Rhode Island Sea Grant and URI. In addition to being a certified planner, Teresa has a master's in landscape architecture and experience working for nonprofit regional planning commissions as well as for-profit planning design firms. Teresa today is going to discuss how the town of North Kingstown has systematically begun the process with business and government stakeholders of assessing local risks. After Teresa, we're going to have a short video about the work Norfolk, Virginia is doing to address sea level rise issues. Another American city that's taking innovative action on flooding after a directive from Sandy is Hoboken, New Jersey. And to educate us about Hoboken's recent work, we have Stephen Marks, the municipal manager of Hoboken with over 20 years of planning and project management experience at the municipal and regional levels. As you can see, I'm introducing everybody at once here, and then they'll come up one by one. Our big Massachusetts neighbor, Boston, has also been taking action to ensure that businesses are incorporating the threats of climate change into their development plans. John Dalzell, am I pronouncing it correctly, John? Okay. John Dalzell is a senior architect at the Boston Redevelopment Authority, and he's going to detail some of the approaches Boston has launched on this front. John currently leads the BRA's Green Building and Sustainable Development Initiatives. He's on the board of the U.S. Green Building Council, so if you have questions about LEED or LEED-ND or other such things, you've got an expert right here. As far as the format for our session, we may entertain a burning question or two after each speaker, but we want to hold both of the questions until each speaker has had their opportunity to enlighten us. So with that, I'd like to have Teresa come up and tell us about North Kingstown.